Good morning. It's Wednesday, and had a good sleep last night. Got my coffee going. Neighbor just fired up their gas-powered generator. That's one device I wanted to avoid buying. I always thought it was weird people bought a generator when they already have one in their car. And what's nice about the van is that motor's like super quiet, you know. It's really quiet. I mean, last night I run it a couple hours a day now. I just let it idle. And I mean, the van doesn't get run that much anyways during the year. It's a 2005, but it only has 123,000 miles on it. For a Toyota, that's pretty low. And I always keep the fluids. I do all the maintenance to it. I mean, the oil is pristine in it, so fully synthetic, 530 weight. So, I mean, generators are just so irritating. If I were to go or do anything, I'm thinking about getting a solar panel for during the day. And obviously it won't work in colder or cloudier climates, but still, I'd still have them. The big question is, where do I put them? Do I hang them off the back rear tailgate? I don't really want to put them on top of all the equipment on top because, you know, the top of a vehicle is real violent. You know, it's like, think of it, on the top of the vehicle, you got to think it's like being in a hurricane, right? It's like being in a Category 4 hurricane. And not just for a little bit of, I mean, for hours and hours on end. And even a tarp you put up there over time, it just rattles around and gets holes in it. So that's not where I'd want to probably put the solar panels. I'd probably just mount them on the back of the tailgate behind the motorcycle where nothing would touch them. But the idea would be to have those solar panels have another deep cycle battery with an isolator coil. I researched deep cycle batteries. I can get a nice one for about $200. That's like a metal halide, you know, that's not lead acid, and lighter weight. And there's actually a little part to the left of in the Toyota. There's a little area where I can build some mounts and put a secondary battery, and then I just build in leads with the isolator switch. And the isolator switch, what it'll do is there's one for like $25 on Amazon that automatically prioritizes a main driving battery, but as the full battery gets charged, the main battery, it'll start charging the deep cycle. And what I could have is have the solar panels, the leads, attached to the deep cycle battery, and then everything runs off that deep cycle battery. And that would be cool, because during the day, I mean, I'm sure it would generate plenty of electricity to where I would barely have to start the car at all to charge. Anyways, so for today, I think I'm gonna pack up and head off to Mammoth. After much decision making, I don't really want to go. Problem is, when you get beyond Mammoth, you know, everything goes up to 6,000 feet. We are at 3,700 where we're at right now. So you go to Mammoth Lakes, I forget what the lake there, I think it's around 6,500 feet or so. And, you know, the whole west is uplifted that way, so the climate all of a sudden becomes a lot sketchier. So what I'm going to do is spend time today. I'm going to do like a stop motion type, you know, camera view of me packing and stripping down and then I would like to get a drone shot before I do that. I have been remiss in doing the drone, just because the last time I was on the windy day, I was practicing the tent, and the damn thing attacked me. Pretty hilarious, running around a tent in the drone, like trying to figure the drone's coming after me. ended up upside down on the table. So I need to figure that out. I'd like to get like a little 360 view of the mountains and the campsite. It's not the most expensive drone. Obviously, I don't want to spend $1,000 on a drone and crash it anyways. So I'd rather take baby steps. It's kind of like my motorcycle. Originally, I bought a 690, which is a large bike and fast. And I mean, technically, I probably should have bought something like a 250, something that was a little easier and kinder, but I didn't do that. Now, on the benefit is I'm happy with the bike, and it has tons of power, and I'm happy. I only had to buy once. But that being said, I did wreck a few times, and that was pretty sketchy. And the bike has, unless you're really mature, that the throttle response in this thing can get really out of control. The biggest problem with the bike is when you go to drop it, or you get in as a beginner, you get in a sketchy situation, you tend to want to kind of hold on to that bike, and if that right wrist isn't at the proper attitude, as you're trying to control the bike, you'll start pulling more throttle, and then things get a little worse. So anyways, that being said, yeah, I'll be packing up today and heading to Mammoth, and I probably will not set up camp when I get there. I know I spent some time at a free camping. There's an area that has open camping there, a couple miles above the lodge. So hopefully it's not too sandy because of the weight of the vehicle. Last time I went up, there were some sandy spots, but I would get up there and then just park and sleep in the van. I'd like to get the heater going, so the heater's actually in the van this time, and try some van camping, and then maybe assess the area and see if I want to stay there for more than a day. And if I do, then I'll go ahead and set up camp there, because there's tons of trails around there, and there's a lot to see up there too. So the only downside is, Mammoth is kind of, everyone's already seen Mammoth for the most part, but still, I guess it would be fun to go up there, and it'd get me up in elevation. That's a little sketchy, but it would be fun. Anyways, yeah, before I leave too, I'll get drone shots, and I'd like to do, I was reading about Lone Pine last night, and it has an interesting little history besides the movies. And one movie that was made here, I found out, was Gladiator. There's a scene where he's on the horse going through a tundra, and behind him are the Alabama hills, all the rock formation, and then you see this exact mountain that's behind me right here in the movie Gladiator, made in 2000 with Russell Crowe. And then, like I said, there's over 400 movies that were made, or that were made in this area, and so that's pretty interesting. The other one is that Lone Pine had an earthquake back in like 1871. It was established in like 1850, and mainly because of mining in the area. It had one of the most productive silver mines, was up in the mountains over here. And I did see a mine when I was driving south of here. I saw an old mine. It would have been fun to go up and check out. But yeah, so what's interesting is most of the city, the little settlement at the time, was made of adobe buildings. There were about, I guess, 60 of them, adobe buildings. And there was an earthquake in 1870, 1871, somewhere in that range. It was so bad that there was only like 1 or 2 structures left after that earthquake. And there must have been a cave system that collapsed and created the lake that's south of Lone Pine. The land actually went down 20 feet, and a spring developed there. Like it collapsed into like an aquifer that's underneath there, and water welled up and created this lake south of Lone Pine, all because of that 1870 earthquake. So I thought that was pretty fascinating, and I didn't even realize that. So hopefully, if I have a image here of it, I'll post it on the video. Anyways, that's the update. Hopefully I'll get a few drone shots here.